how many episodes they're going to contribute for the year, for the monies that they did. We were able to go into Fenton schools this past fall, and their TV room and rec room with all this equipment in it is great. I mean, and they would not have that program. They have over 100 kids in that program and would not have that available unless these funding was available to them, so.
Oh, there was an issue once before with, they were looking, it was causing them staffing issues or financial issues with hiring somebody to
Do that full-time.
do all that full-time. Is this still an impact to them by giving them this to invest? Still going to
Being as
cost?
our PEG coordinator or the schools side of it?
I guess my question would be, it was a handful of years ago.
Okay.
They had the grants given to them and they had all this equipment. Then the school had another problem with financing
Oh, the
somebody to
educational-
manage it all. Because they got such a big impact and it had a lot of equipment.
What we have is
We're not-
a PEG coordinator.
Okay.
So he's in charge of all the schools, all of the equipment. He orders everything, he installs everything, and he is on hands with all the schools. They can call him at any time, and he goes in and he teaches them how to use the equipment. If something's not working, he goes in there and tries to fix it. He runs the 191 channel that we live stream.
So it takes the burden off from the schools.
Yes.
Right.
Yep. And if they need help, then he's their backup IT guy.
Right, well, and he also brought in, and a big request was from this township board, was to create a YouTube channel for them to use. So not only are they creating programming that can be seen on channel 192, but 191, I'm sorry. Grandparents in Florida, aunts and uncles in Arizona, anybody can get on the YouTube channel and see the programming that's being produced by this program. So it's kind of got out of just, you know, the Fenton area consortium, and it's become a nationwide or worldwide deal.
Sounds good.
Yeah, the kids that were able to come and voice their opinions, you know, they're very appreciative, and actually, one of the Lake Fenton or Fenton students is now working for News 12 after graduation. Went on and is now doing that. That's great.
That's very good.
Yeah.
So is there anybody that's opposed to granting the PEG fees?
Before I would move to approve this, make a motion to approve it. Looking at the Heartland, why is Heartland so low opposed to the other ones? Is it just
Well,
because?
Heartland just started.
Okay.
So this is their first year that they're requesting funds.
I know the answer to that
Okay.
really well. Heartland schools are in Tyrone Township. So
Is it
most of this is, well, there's two cable companies. There's Comcast and there's Charter. So Heartland was receiving a lot of Comcast dollars. I don't expect to see large amounts of requests come from them because they're already receiving from, but we have, I don't know, 1/4 of our township.
We have 21% that is going to, from the
So,
PEG,
Yeah.
going to
So-
Heartland.
So 21% of the students in Tyrone Township go to Heartland schools. So if they're getting charter in Tyrone Township, they're not seeing the programming on charter. So those PEG funds needed to be allocated for Heartland schools. So we kind of brought that together. So now Heartland's part of the Fenton area consortium. So now that they get a little bit of airtime and some of their PEG fees, and it kind of
Okay,
equals it out.
makes sense. Well, I will make the motion to approve the release of the PEG grants as stated.
Second.
It's been motioned and supported to approve $47,665.74 PEG grant request to the Fenton Area Cable Consortium grant. I'm sorry, I have the wrong one. It's $47,017.51. Thank you, Marcy. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. On to item number 3. request of the Tyrone Treasurer to attend the MMTA 28 Basic Institute.
This is the 3-year
Commitment.
certification
Yes.
process, like Joanne went through.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
It's a week-long training, starts on Sunday and ends on
I got
Friday.
a question. Is this the one where we reject it and you get grant money for it, or is this the one you want us
We
to approve?
can't get grant money for it because Joanne did 2 years ago. And you can get grants from the same, I've already looked into it,
Okay.
township
I
or,
just wanted to make sure.
I think every 5 years you can apply for different grants from the state.
Okay.
Yeah,
we can't get it.
Joanne was going to this, and in order for her to go at no cost, we had to
Right.
say, no, we're not going to pay for it.
Right.
So I just wanted to make sure that this wasn't the case here, so.
They do give so many grants out a year, but
As a new treasurer, I don't see any reason why she shouldn't be going to this, so.
It should be.
I'll call for a motion.
So moved.
It's been motioned and supported to approve the request of the treasurer to attend the MMTA 2018 Basic Institute. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. Next is item number 4, request of the Planning Commission to hold a monthly workshop meeting. As you recall, during our last joint meeting, we had conversation with our Planning Commission because they were getting quite a backlog with their meeting, and a lot of business was getting carried over to where they needed additional time. So they decided that they wanted to do a workshop once a month in order to get through a lot of the issues, solve things out, bring a more refined product to the Planning Commission to work on and move the agendas along. And it seems to be working quite well. So they have basically requested that they have, the same additional meetings, 12 meetings for the year to work through these things. And I don't see any problem with it. Before the economic downturn, when we were slow, they were meeting twice a month. And it was taken away, and it's, it probably should have been instituted a year before, but I think they're making really good progress, and it seems to be working quite well.
I see that you've got it in the budget.
Oh, yes.
Increased
Yeah,
already for
We've already
us,
increased
yeah.
that budget line.
Yeah, that worked out real well for us so far. We can get in and dig into the big items that take so much time, and gives us a chance. There's been so many things on our plate that
lots of building
that
going
second
on.
meeting really helps. So.
Yeah, well, there's also a lot of land divisions that have been
Yeah.
occurring.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're busy.
Just good.
Yeah.
Are we, that's part of the budget, or do we even have to approve that right now?
We can either, I think it makes good sense to say, yeah, we approve the extra meetings since they were taken away. And that makes it just a no-brainer for the budget. I mean, but we're approving the budget as a whole. It's already in there. So I would say there's nothing, no harm, no foul in making a motion to approve the meeting dates. Because we have to approve our meeting dates and post them, so.
I think we're going to have a joint meeting too, probably that,
In May?
I don't know if we want to do it that May 16th, or does that take away from the work that you need to get done with that workshop?
I guess I don't remember we had talked about it. So the 16th is what?
The joint meeting was the 17th.
Okay, so this is the workshop, and then the next day we'll have the joint meeting.
Day before.
Or we could do it,
Oh, okay.
we could take a look at we could take a look and do it at our regular board meeting.
Before or after.
Yeah, because we have that May election in there that
Yeah.
kind of throws our whole schedule out for May, because, well, it's here.
Yeah,
So-
maybe we could look at April. Then maybe going forward, we could set 2 meeting dates a year and set another one for the year, which I think is a great idea, but,
Yeah, I think so.
I think we were thinking maybe November, after we get through the
election,
election.
yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
so maybe April and November.
Or actually the beginning of December, because it doesn't seem like there's just a whole lot going on, other than special assessment. Fun budgets,
We have enough of that.
Yeah,
So-
that might be a good thing.
Yeah, unless anybody's opposed, we'll go ahead and entertain a motion for that too.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned and supported to approve the request of the planning commission to hold monthly workshop meeting. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. New business item number 5 is a quote from IT Right to do proactive antivirus coverage. What this is we have antivirus software and we have an insurance protecting us. What the new method of gaining access to people's servers and hackers are utilizing the tool, it's through all these downloads that come. You turn on your computer and you have a download update from
Adobe.
Adobe, a PDF form, or from a browser, or for something else. And they're able to get in. So what they do is for $580 a year, they'll manage those downloads nightly, make sure that they installed correctly, make sure that nobody snuck in, the Trojan horse there in the back door, and keep us protected so nobody's, inputting viruses or putting the ransomware in that we almost had that one day. We've been very fortunate, but, ransomware is a big deal, and our information is very sensitive. I don't know, does $580 seem like it's out of the realm for the extra protection or not,
I just had a question about this, why it's 2 server charges.
Because we have 2 servers.
We do have 2? Okay, I didn't know we had 2.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, considering that for one PC or one computer,
Yeah, that's
Is-
not even the cost of one per,
it's anywhere from $100 to $200 on its own.
Yeah.
This is covering our entire system, both servers, everything else. I don't know if it's out of line. I mean, obviously, it's
It's a good insurance policy, that's for sure.
one thing you can't do about insurance is pick it up and hold it and cuddle it and think it's a good thing, so.
Right.
But again, what's the risk? And I think a lot of
There's data
information
breaches
here.
out there every day, hundreds of thousands of them, and, they cost taxpayers, it costs corporations, it costs a lot of people a lot of money. My only concern is that if we didn't do this and this was available to us and we got caught, shame on us, So,
No, they do a really good job of detecting, all of the spam emails
Yeah.
and
This is
with our
additional to
backups.
our antivirus stuff? or
this is
this-
additional.
Yeah.
This is proactive management of downloads. So there's people there
just
24
manage
hours a
downloads.
day. They check the downloads, they go ahead and install them, they check them, they make sure that there's no intrusion. If there isn't, they stop it. We had that one deal where something had got through and it looked like something that would be coming from a township to a township, and it was ransomware. But it didn't, our current antivirus stopped it, just froze it, kind of quarantined it so it didn't do anything. I caught it and I called IT right away, and I got something that doesn't look right. And he stopped, he says, tell everybody just to stop for a minute. And he goes, good thing, because if we went any further, it would have cost you thousands of dollars, so they were able to stop it, so. Yeah, so, I mean, IT
Did a good
Right's done a
job.
fantastic
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, it's definitely worth the money.
Okay, I'll take a motion for that.
I'll motion.
Support.
Been motion and supported to approve the quote for IT Right for managed antivirus quote for $580. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? That motion carries. Next is the 2018-2019 budget discussion. Marcy, Jennifer, and I have worked on the budget and put all our departments together and have got a preliminary budget prepared. So tonight, we want to go through it so you know where our revenues are coming from and what we've budgeted to spend in our general fund. This will also be part of the slides for the budget presentation coming up next month. So we'll go ahead and get started. If anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to stop, and we'll get started on that. So, first thing we have to do is we have to estimate our revenues. And we have always taken a very conservative approach, and we try to not overguess these. We actually prefer to kind of underguess them, because when they hit the mark, you have extra money. So, and it also helps us be realistic in our budget approach, that we're, obviously if we're not bringing enough money, then we need to cut something back out of what we have budgeted. So, and we're very conservative in our budget approach, and it results to budget surpluses every year, and has for the last 8 or 9 years. So, with that being said, we'll kind of get into it right now. The last couple years in property tax, we've received $389,399. We've budgeted that we'll have $399. So next year, we've had some building increases. We're thinking that we're going to have, a little bit of increase in property tax revenue, about 2 to 3%. So I think we budgeted 2.5%. So we budgeted $409,993. Conservative on our previous year's adjustments. Delinquent personal property tax. This is a tax that people are delinquent on. We think it will have about $633. Property allocated IFT tax. We kept that right around 2%. Our franchise fee revenue, this is from our cable providers. Anybody that has a franchise agreement with us, AT&T, that's our franchise revenue. Kept that, right about 2.5%. Sewer permit fees, burn permit fees. We have more houses this year, so we think that we'll have a few more burn permits sold. Non-business license permits. There's our statutory shared revenue. We budgeted we'll have $772,000 for this year. So next year we think we'll have $790,000. In 2017 we had $795,000. I don't have anything that thinks that we'll bring in less than $800,000, but we just only wanted to budget $790,000. So we stay consistent there. Revenue sharing, another thing from the state, which is another $24,000. 16, we received $26,000. There's nothing to indicate that there's going to be a decrease there. So we budgeted $24,000 to stay very conservative. Our administrative fees, they're going up because we're getting more population. So we did about a 3% increase there. Sewer O&M fees, we've got more people in the sewer system, especially with Cider Mill Crossing. That's a very conservative number. Zoning Board of Appeals applications, we don't think there's going to be too much more than that. We've kind of seen a downtick in ZBA. I think a lot of that's too because of the work that we've been doing with our ordinance and the work that we've been doing in our planning commission, making sure that we're staying up with our ordinances and improving them all the time. Taking a look at what variances are coming in and addressing them at the planning commission. So good job there. Once again, sewer O&M billing fees are going to be on the increase, but we kept it pretty conservative. School tax collection revenue, that should increase with the population as well. Dog license fees, $525 or $528. Manufactured home administration fees. Non-taxable sales. Address signs. Duplicate tax bill fees. FOIA fees. We didn't really budget anything for that because we're not getting any of those. Special assessment processing fees, or when we fees for processing our special assessments, our town hall rentals. A couple of years ago we had a lot of activity. This year 600, or this year 600, so we're looking at about 211. Passport photos, 1,000. We've had a tremendous amount of passports. So a lot of people are coming to the township, and people from outside of the township are coming. We're getting them from Linden and Holly and Fenton, coming here to get their passports, Heartland. Traffic fines, anytime that there's an ordinance violation or a traffic fine, we get fees for that. Ordinance violations, usually they either get compliant or it's usually a court case, so there's not too many of those fines that are written. Traffic fines, they're pretty consistent, so we're keeping them right at 2,000. Sewer O&M penalty late fees, budgeted at 8,000 for next year. We had it budgeted for 9,000 this year. Our activity is currently at 6,000, so 8,000 seems like it's the right number. Interest and dividend earnings, that's from our investments that we have. So we're expecting that we'll get 10,588. Activity this year, we've already got 10,753, so that's lower than what we've already got for this year. Miscellaneous revenue, we're not budgeting, we're not expecting any miscellaneous. We've kind of moved anything that was miscellaneous to where it needs to go with cleaning up our funds. Reimbursement on elections. We're having, what, 2 elections next year?
We have
Three.
3, but it's only Heartland schools that will do the reimbursement.
Right, next year we have 3? Or,
We have 3 elections,
This
but
year.
only one will get reimbursed for.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. So, we budgeted 5,000 for that. Next is our expected expenditures for the township board. Salaries are up a little bit, so it'll be 19,509. Hourly wages, we budgeted 20,000. Last year we budgeted 21,000. Holiday was 989. This year we budgeted 1,200. Sick was 299. This year it's 370. Hourly vacation was 494. This year it's 636. Per diem wages, we had budgeted 3,256. This year we only budgeted 1,200. Education and training, last year we budgeted 20,060. This year 1,500. Pension plan participation fee is $132 last year and this year. Office supplies, last year we budgeted 328, this year we budgeted 328. Postage, 656, same number. Newsletter, postage and printing, last year we budgeted 4,371, this year 4,650. That's for our newsletter that goes out. Township board sends that out. The auditor, 14,857, that's for our annual audit. Consultant fees, we've budgeted 1,200. Engineering fees, we budgeted 15,000. Note that most of any of the engineering fees will be brought in a escrow account by most people, so we don't know if we're gonna need them for anything, but the money's budgeted there, and it's one of those things, just because it's there doesn't mean that we're gonna spend it. It's there in case we need it. Filing and recording fees, last year we budgeted 81, this year we budgeted $100. This is for court stuff that the board may have. Legal and court fees, last year we budgeted $24,000, this year we budgeted $5,500. We had, our activity this year though has only been $3,899, so we didn't see a need to try and budget another $24,000 there. Didn't make sense. Meetings and conferences, we budgeted 1,100, last year it was 1,639. Memberships and dues, this year we budgeted $6,196. Last year was $8,196. That's for MTA and all that. Payroll processing fees. Last year we didn't do anything because we brought on ADT. So this year we spent $3,000. This year it'll be $5,000 that we budgeted. Transportation and travel, last year we budgeted $1,093. This year we budgeted $800. We only had $41 in activity. Like I said, money's there. Just because it's there doesn't mean we're going to spend it all. Printing and publishing, last year we budgeted $7,649. We're budgeting the same amount. Our current activity is $4,245. Miscellaneous expenses, like I said, we kind of clean that up too. So we're only budgeting $200 because you don't know what might pop up. Last year we budgeted $2,122. Tax chargebacks, our activity this year is only $783. We budgeted $4,000 for last year, so this next year we're only going to budget $2,000. So basically, the township board expenditures. Last year we budgeted $129,364. This year we're only budgeting $109,779. So supervisor salary $43,000. And then there was hourly wages last year that was budgeted at $22,000. We had some unknowns, and I had budget in there for a deputy, which I never hired or do intend on hiring. We actually ended up using some of that money to bring somebody in zoning administration. So we actually moved that line to where it needs to be. So that $22,000 is out of the supervisor budget. There's no dollars for hourly employee there this year. Education and training, last year we budgeted $1,225. There was no dollars spent on it. We did budget $750. Office supplies was $274. We haven't spent any on office supplies. We still budgeted $274. Same thing with postage, $28. Meetings and conferences, we budgeted $1,420. We haven't spent any this year. We still budgeted $1,420. Memberships and dues, we had an $85 membership fee, and that was to Michigan Association of Township Supervisors. We had budgeted $546 this year. We're going to budget $546. Computer software programs, we budgeted $500 there, just in case there's something that comes up that we need. Computer hardware and supplies, there's $100 budgeted there, just in case we need it. Transportation and travel, activity is $359 for the year. Last year we budgeted $2,186. This year we're only budgeting $1,100. Miscellaneous expenses, we had $218. We only have $100 this year. So last year we budgeted $62,733 for supervisor department. This year we're only budgeting $48,814. Clerk's department, salary $43,000. Hourly wages, this is $40,000. That's for the clerk's employees. Hourly overtime, $650 is budgeted. This year we only have $16. We didn't actually have a amount budgeted, but we have $16 of overtime this year, but we did budget some for next year because we don't know what next year's going to bring. Hourly holiday is, last year we budgeted $3,815. This year is $1,550. Hourly sick, last year was $464. This year $515. Hourly vacation, $2,225. This year $3,000. Education and training, last year we budgeted $2,060. This year we only spent, when I say last year, I mean this current year, we only spent $356, and we budgeted $1,000 for this next year. Office supplies, $984. We've spent $619, and for next year we budgeted $1,500. Postage, we budgeted $100. We spent $8 this year. Next year consultants, we have $54,000. This year we budgeted $64,000 and we've spent $55,000. Membership and dues, this year we budgeted $206, we've spent $20, next year $106. Computer software and programs, we budgeted $500. Computer software annual maintenance, $2,250. Computer hardware and supplies, $100. Transportation, travel, $500. Last year we budgeted $1,147 and only have spent $344. So the expenditures for the clerk's department, last year we budgeted $150,446. This year we budgeted $149,971. Go down to Board of Review. We budgeted $1,530. We spent $385 this year. Next year we have $2,220 budgeted. Treasurer's Department. Salary $43,000. Hourly wages $59,000. That's for deputy and cashier. Overtime $741. Holiday $2,685. Hourly sick $990. Hourly vacation $2,400. Education and training $2,800. Office supplies $2,100. Utility billing $984. Office supplies $309. Postage $218. Tax bills, postage and printing $3,500. Postage, utility billing $900. Bank service charges $1,800. Consultants $1,500. Membership dues $115. Computer software annual maintenance $2,250. Computer hardware supplies $100. Transportation and travel $2,700. Printing and publishing $338. Miscellaneous expense of $100. Treasurer's Department's budgeted $128,350. Last year they were at $113,364. Assessing. Salary is $50,298. That's for the level 1 assessor. Hourly wages of $32,394. That's for the other assessor hourly. Your hourly holiday $1,483. Hourly sick $626. Hourly vacation $775. Education and training $1,100. Office supplies $1,030. Postage $437. Postage assessments for the assessment bills, which is $2,732. Legal fees $200. Membership and dues $350. Computer software programs $500. Computer software annual maintenance $1,750. Computer hardware supplies $100. Transportation and travel $600. Printing and publishing $400. Miscellaneous expenses $1,000. And our capital outlay for assessing is $94,875. Last year it was $91,489 budgeted. Into the elections. Like I said, we're going to have 3 this year. One of them is going to be reimbursed, which is the Heartland Schools. Last year we budgeted $33,000, and our activity expense for the year was about $7,805. This year we budgeted $6,250. Overtime $309. Election personnel wages $11,000. Election personnel training $2,500. Election personnel mileage $1,000. Education and training $165. Office supplies $1,311. Election materials $3,000. Election day food $1,000. Postage $1,500. Precinct facility rent, we have to rent a couple of the churches in order to hold the elections for the precincts, so we've budgeted $1,600 there. Computer hardware and supplies, $100. Transportation and travel, $1,000. Printing and publishing, $5,000. Equipment repairs and maintenance, $1,000. Miscellaneous expenses of $100. So last year we budgeted $114,529. This year we're only budgeting $36,835.
Well, that was 40,000 of that was budgeted for the tabulators, so
Yeah.
that made it.
That was the
a lot
equipment, that
higher.
was,
We had to purchase.
yeah, we had to purchase tabulators. What did we buy? 10, was it?
9,
Nine of them.
but we didn't have to pay for them, only one. But we
We
didn't know.
will next time.
Well,
Right.
we didn't know, well, next time we will have to pay for them.
Yeah, and what we're doing is we're setting up fund balance so that we're allocating, we're not actually putting a fund, we're allocating a certain dollar amount every year for the next 10 years, so when it comes due, there's not this big rush to drain general fund money. There's been money set aside for it. It's called strategic planning when it comes to your money, so we know that we have the funds there.
Smart way to do it.
Building and grounds, maintenance and supplies, $984. Custodian contract, $5,305. Lawn maintenance, $2,575. Snow removal, $3,605. Dumpster and rubbish, $600. Electric expense is $5,092. Propane is $6,270. Building repairs and maintenance, $14,000. Equipment repairs and maintenance, $200. Miscellaneous, $100. Capital outlay and building additions, $1,000. Last year we budgeted $44,125. This year we're budgeting $39,731. Cemeteries. We have a person that's called the sexton that gets paid for managing the cemetery plots and maintenance and that. So that salary is $1,030. The cemetery maintenance, we have $5,000. Lawn maintenance, $3,824. Computer software annual maintenance, $400. Transportation and travel, $56. Miscellaneous expense, $100. Cemetery budgeted $10,410. Last year we had $11,003. Unallocated expenses, office supplies, we budgeted $2,732. Excess copies, $1,000.93, or $1,093. A lot of numbers.
Yeah, sure it is.
Copy release, $2,800. Postage, $2,575. Postage meter charges, $984. Passport postage expense, $600. Address sign expense, $220. Telephone expense, $372. I'm sorry. Document shredding, $372. Telephone expense, $4,774. Internet communications, $1,093. Server PC email annual maintenance, $4,500. Miscellaneous expense, $100. We budgeted $21,843. Last year was $17,653. It's the server and PC annual maintenance. It was the increase of $4,500. Public Works, engineering, we have $5,000. Groundwater mapping, $1,000. Public benefits, $200. Construction maintenance of drains, budgeted $12,000. So a total of $18,200. Last year we budgeted $24,589. Street lighting, $2,546. That's what we budgeted last year. Social services, per diem wages, Heartland seniors. Last year we budgeted $4,371. This year's $4,600. As we've talked about, we give money to the Heartland seniors. If you're over the age of 50, you live in Tyrone Township, you can utilize the Heartland Senior Center at no cost because of this contribution from the township. There's a lot of services there. You got exercise classes and arts and crafts classes and Meals on Wheels and a lot of things that they offer to our residents there. So the value is exponential for the $4,600 that we've budgeted for that. Okay. Planning Commission. My thing's coming apart here. Okay. Planning Commission. Hourly wages, we have $35,000. Last year we budgeted $1,665. Remember, we doubled their meetings with the workshops. Hourly overtime, $3,500. Holiday hourly, $2,200. Hourly sick, $350. Per diem wages, $700. I'm sorry. Hourly vacation, $700. Per diem wages, $15,000. Office supplies, $109. Postage, $109. Engineering fees, $6,500. Legal fees, $1,639. Membership and dues, $656. Township planner, $22,600. Computer software annual maintenance, $1,400. Computer hardware and supplies, $100. Transportation and travel, $1,100. Printing and publishing, $2,781. Miscellaneous expense, $100. We budgeted $93,844, and that's up from the $55,545. ZBA, last year we budgeted $10,000. This year we're going to budget $5,000 for hourly wages. Per diem wages, $1,625. Office supplies, $109. Postage, $56. Membership and dues, $81. Transportation and travel, $175. Printing and publishing, $1,030. $100 miscellaneous. This year we budgeted $8,176 for planning. Last year we budgeted $14,675. Zoning administrator, hourly wages, we budgeted $32,000. Hourly overtime, $1,100. Hourly sick, hourly holiday, $1,162. Hourly sick, $517. Education and training, $2546. Office supplies, $383. Postage, $56. Consultants, $1,200. Engineering, $1,500. Legal fees, $2,000. Membership and dues, $109. Computer hardware and supplies, $100. Transportation and travel, $328. Printing and publishing, $109. Miscellaneous expense, $100, for a budget of $43,210 compared to last year at $22,957, and that's because we're moving that zoning administrator over into the zoning administrator department from the supervisor's department. Ordinance enforcement, $6,700 in wages, $100 in office supplies, $2,000 in legal fees for traffic, $17,000 in legal fees for ordinance, and $400 for transportation and travel. Budget of $26,700. Last year was $27,313. Economic development. Last year we budgeted $9,548. We terminated that contract. We budgeted $0 this year. Community survey. Last year we budgeted $10,000. We don't see that we're going to do one this year, so there's another $10,000 we didn't budget. PEG coordinator, $2,600. Last year was $2,440. So for community action programs, last year we budgeted $12,440. This year we're only budgeting $2,600. Insurance bonds infringes, excuse me. State employment benefits, we budgeted $6,365. Social Security employer expense of $42,664, consistent with last year's budget. Allowance in lieu of insurance, this year $6,000, last year $10,609. Health and dental insurance, this year we budgeted $72,000. Last year we budgeted $66,950. That's additional employees. General liability insurance, last year was $16,480. This year we budgeted $20,000. Workman's comp, $3,388. Same this year. Insurance bonds and fringes, budgeted $150,417. Last year we budgeted $146,456. Those were our transfers out. Those are just all transfers. So that is pretty much it for our, budget for our roads for chloride 90. Hold on. That's the one that I didn't.
245, Fund 245.
That's what you're talking about, right here?
141.
This one? That one, or is it this next one?
What did we budget for chloride? I think that's the one thing that
75,000.
yeah. And then we budgeted 75,000 for chloride, and it was 60,000 last year. The reason why we budgeted 75,000 is even here we do the border roads. On the even years and on the odd years, the other townships do the border roads. What else did I have here?
Road improvement. Oops, sorry. Road improvement.
Yeah, those were transfer outs.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, the 300,000 for road contracts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we don't have anything for tree cutting, but do we need to budget something for tree cutting?
does that come out of building and set? And then we have the right-of-way money that we use for tree cutting.
Okay.
We use road money for tree cutting, we use the right-of-way fund, that check that we get, and then if we cut anything here, we use building a site.
Okay.
So that's basically our general fund expenses for next year's budget. Any thoughts, comments, questions, anything we need to add?
2017 and 18, it's not done yet, so it is going up as of right now.
Right. Yeah, we won't have those.
That's gonna be in March, right?
We actually probably won't have all those numbers until April. But we will make our final budget amendments, if any,
The last
meeting in
last
March.
meeting.
Right. But I think we're right on track. I think we've made most all of them
Think so.
already. So we're in good shape.
Yeah, it looks that way.
I think it looks solid.
Got rid of a few things there too that weren't doing us any justice, so.
Held up.
Okay, so if we got nothing else that we need to add to that, then I'll go ahead and prepare the budget presentation for our last meeting for next month.
You know what, I didn't see it, and maybe I missed it just now, but there was something in there for the building fund.
Yeah, we have a bill,
20, was it about 128,000 or something like that I saw somewhere? Or maybe I'm,
Are you talking about the transfers out?
yeah, those are,
there's only enough pages of this, right?
capital outlay. You're probably on here back here. And contract with
Heck is the building fund.
public works road improvement. What did you say it was, Chuck?
I want to say it was building, associated with the building or building fund,
Okay, building and grounds.
building grounds. It's-
The building fund is 145, is that what you're referring
I think that's
to?
one, yeah. What page is that one
It
on?
is, who knows, 3 from the back, 4 from the back,
I knew it was there.
4 from the back. Fund number 145. It's at 233,784, is that what you're talking? Is that the right one or not?
What we do is we have a building and site fund. That usually is budget surplus money at the end of the year for future things. And what you probably saw was a transfer out.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, one.
And then we had
The page
building and
prior.
maintenance that was in the general fund that we discussed. You know, with, when we talk about the propane and all that stuff. So that's what we had budgeted for basic building operations. So if we do any major repairs, let's say we have to put a new roof on, so $40,000, we would transfer that from our building fund, which is, the money's already there.
and the building fund
Allocated
has
funds.
future development starting seated in it. Basically, are we starting to throw a little money away for future
We
development?
have been, but I think that, you know, we're gonna have to take a little bit more in-depth look at that as each year comes by, you know?
Okay.
So. Okay. Transfers in. Yep, public improvement building site fund.
Right.
This was a transfer in from our,
General fund.
What page is that, so I can,
from our building and site fund.
oh, I see, okay, and it's
Yeah.
125,
Yeah,
727?
is that what you're looking for? Okay.
So, you know, we've been looking at for the last
If you look at the treasurer's report,
2 months.
it is on there also.
Yeah.
One second.
Okay, and then the last one, I'll pass this around, this is a proposal from Ronald's Tree, I just got it, sorry I didn't make any copies, but what we have is we have an old oak tree out here, big tree, beautiful tree. It's got a couple low-lying branches, we had a fire truck pull in and whacked it, and didn't hurt the truck, but it broke one of the limbs off, which kind of told us that we got some rot going on there, and then we've had a couple, good-sized limbs drop out on the road, so I think we better get on that and straighten her up before she gets in bad shape. I mean, she's right there on the road, not interested in dropping a beautiful oak tree, but they do want $2,000 to clean her up and make her nice again.
Sounds like the safe thing to do. Before somebody gets hurt.
This is true.
Hear that, we just spent $2,000 and buy a wood burner for the township and fell it.
Did you want to see it? There you go.
I knew you would like that.
It might be warmer in here. We do that.
Probably. So the estimate's for $2,100 to trim deadwood oak tree, clean up. They're gonna have to do a little traffic delineation to do that, so unless anybody thinks that we shouldn't do it, speak up or I'll entertain the motion. It's been motioned and supported to approve the quote for $2,100 to address the tree out front. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? That motion carries. We have no miscellaneous business. public remarks? Okay. Now call for a motion to adjourn. Been motion and supported to adjourn the meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries.
You need a pen?
Snatching pins over there.
Today's the 20th.